Hi, Nicole.
Hi, how are you?
I'm so happy to have you. I'm good. Where are you right now?
I live in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, which is about 15 minutes from Philadelphia in the United States.
To share a bit where we met during service design school. We want to chat a bit about this and what we
hmm
learned through this process. And then I want you to talk about what you offer, what you do, and what basically you designed through the process of service design.
Yeah, for sure. So I have been in service design school with you and a bunch of our other friends. And what I found fantastic about that opportunity was, like you said, it was 5 weeks. It was like boot camp for service design, and we learned so much. And so through that program, I was able to take my idea from the ethers and pull it down, into this atmosphere and really see how I can offer it to the world. I'm a business consultant by trade. I've been working in corporate functions for over 10 years. And I found that I prefer to help um, entrepreneurs with their businesses and really understanding how they can break the mold of what they've been told they have to do. There's
Mm.
so many rules in that. And so I found that through service design school, like pre awareness was really important. How do people understand what we're even offering to them? Really designing something they want that they actually need
Mm.
was huge because you always think you're doing that until you speak with your clients.
Until no one
Um,
is booking, right?
yeah, you're going, where are
Mm.
my people? And they're like, we don't even know you exist. That's a great way that Nadia used
Or,
to tell
or,
us in
or they
service design.
say, we don't understand what you're doing, simply. Like, yeah, I
Yeah,
think we've been both spending some time in this zone where we wanted to do
yeah,
something, but we had no clue. So I think the way we found this training and intense boot camp, as you said, is like something in us was like, I actually need that. I need to know how to design services that can be meaningful and helpful for people, and that when the people would see the website or wherever you share, they, it's like, yes, I need this. Like, it's so magnetic. And I like that. I think there's a lot of magnetism in what you're doing.
mm.
You have a great Instagram channel that I like that you just started for your business. Dot
NicoleDoyle.co.
dot co, and I think it's super fun. We are creating content because we are
hmm
small business owner, and it can be fun. And I noticed Jackie just did a reel about this, saying it can be fun actually to create content. And I
Yeah,
think this is something I really want the audience to understand, that once you have designed and crafted a service that you're in love with, everything else is going to be easy. How do you feel about
exactly.
this? Like, I'm in love with my product, and I'm like, oh, I'm proud of it. I love it. And I can't wait to share it with the world. And I hope everyone will be resonating with that. And
Exactly. Yeah, no, I completely agree. And the thing that I find is that if you are outside, you're not working for somebody else, you're working for yourself. And what I often find when I work with my clients is that they feel like they have to do things a certain way because that's what society or their parents or somebody has showed them the way. But it really does get to be fun and it gets to be easy. And we can do a lot of really cool things. And that's the difference between big corporate business and small business, especially in the new world that we're building. And it gets to be really exciting and fun. And if that's not fun, then that's where we need to start.
I remember how we did this matrix where we could sort out our ideas, and we could go from the least feasible to the most feasible and to
hmm
the less fun and most fun. And I think
Yeah.
it's so important that we can design for fun. And I would like to hear you, because I know you're offering right now business audit, and this sounds not fun to me. So how can you make it fun?
Yeah. So it might not sound fun to the person who may think, gosh, I don't want to do a business audit. But for me, what I do is I dive all into a business. So I will look at a website and maybe a social media platform combined, depending on what a business has, and then find for them all of the areas that are not connecting or where do I think it could
Mm.
improve. And then I provide a customized report to them saying, here are the areas that I noticed. And it's funny because you can look at something all day long as the person who created it and not be able to see the gaps because it's yours,
Mm.
it's personal. And from that report, we have a 90-minute meeting. And in that meeting is where it gets really fun because that's
Mm.
where all of the auditing that I've done comes through, but also what's working for you, what's not working for you, what's like really not fun, and what's really fun, and what's the strategy to get to where you want to go. And so while it's only 90 minutes, it's like the most action packed time, that gives you actionable
Mm.
strategy. And then over the next 7 days, we talk like on a platform like Telegram, and we review all of the content, that maybe you're updating, and you're able to take actionable steps to accomplish what we talked about in our business audit to make your business go from like, I'm not really happy about this, to like,
Mm.
yes, this is great.
Do you feel that measuring success would depend from one client to another? Or
Absolutely. I feel like success is very individual. And I say that to all of my clients, that success is not, I'm not going to measure your success in some way and say, oh, you've gotten 5 new clients, that's success.
mm,
Where your goal may be, hey, I really need to pivot my business to spend more time with my children right now. It's summer and I want to make it autopilot so that I'm bringing in this much money and, still have time for fun. Other people are like, I want to grow
yeah.
bigger. I want to work less, so success is individual.
Don't you feel that sometimes people don't even know what they want when they start? Like they don't even have this vision of that's
Yeah.
possible, you know? Because maybe you are the one bringing the light on. Oh, hey, actually, yeah, I hear you, but it sounds like you want to spend more time with your family. Why don't we try this? Like, how is that happening? Because I find for my client that sometimes they say, oh, yeah, I want this, but they actually don't want something else. And we have to dive deeper into it and find the sweet spot of, oh, I really want this. Because when you really, really want something, I'm convinced that you're gonna try to the best to make it happen. But if you try to make it happen is the wrong thing, then it's gonna be hard.
Absolutely. Yeah, a lot of my clients do come to me thinking that they want one thing, and we uncover something completely different. And so, not to be left out of this process, it's not just like boom, 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 strategy, here, do these steps. It's like, what do you really want? Deep down,
Mm,
have you sat with yourself? Have you questioned, are you doing this for you? Is this what you're really looking to do? Or are you following someone else's plan? And
mm,
more often than not, I find that people are following someone else's plan, and being seen by me liberates them to take steps in a direction of what they actually really want. It's a great point, because they will work harder for their
mm.
vision than they will for
Yeah,
somebody else's.
I
Mhm.
have goosebumps because I know it from my own experience that I always been a hard worker. I always delivered. Like
Mm.
even when I was younger, I had like some retail jobs or like being a store manager, this kind of thing. I was giving my best, like 110%. But it wasn't my vision. I wasn't fulfilling my vision. And now since I decided to go for my vision, and I was just saying that I'm about to burst this website finally, but
Mm.
it's, it took me 4 days to do it, but it's the labor. It's like, it was a very long labor. It was like 3 years of thinking about it every day. So it's a bit
Yeah.
stressful right now. It's like, oh, like the baby's about to come out. And I was thinking, you said like you can see people, like people feel seen, and I know because I know you that you're a projector. I would
Mm.
love that you share your experience of navigating your projector aura and also using it in your business.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, being a fellow projector, you understand the
Mm,
vision that comes, the gift that comes with being a projector and trusting your strategy and authority. And so, for those not familiar with human design, the energy type of a projector has this penetrating aura that it can really see you and envelop you. It's very good for seeing the other. And so, as I learned that over 2 years ago, I was shocked. I thought I was another energy type. I really thought, of course, I'm a manifesting generator because I do all the
I do
things.
so
But
much. I can do anything and
yeah,
I'm fast. No, don't you think?
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Being a projector, folks often think that there's no energy there, but there can be a lot of energy, especially when you're lit up. And so, a thing I've always been told that I have is the ability to see like everything differently from a different perspective, and to connect all of the dots that people can't often put together themselves.
Mm,
And that structure, that process, that mind, that masculine energy of that type of activity is really my superpower when it
mm,
comes to being a projector in business. And I just, it's very easy for me to see it. And it's funny because I think we've talked about this. I don't see it always for myself, and that's why I have my own
yes.
projectors that help me see
Yeah.
me. But for the other, that's what's really exciting. And so I'm able to help people connect all of their dots, feel seen, and
Yes.
then feel the motivation to take that plan and run with it.
What's your authority? I forgot.
Oh, I'm Splenic Authority, so it's an
Oh,
intuitive
same,
knowing.
same as me.
Yeah.
It's the best, no?
I mean, I think so.
It's
And
just
I
so
don't
cool.
often,
It's
yeah, I
just so
don't often
cool.
tell people how intuitive plays into my business and my life, but it is something that plays a huge part as a projector for me. There is that intuitive knowing, that like light tap on the shoulder that says
Mm,
go left, go right,
yes.
start with this topic. It's a feel in the body. And while that may seem crazy to some, I think it's led me to some great success in my life,
Yes.
and also to help my clients see things that maybe they're not understanding or seeing on the surface.
That is so funny because we can't really explain it. We can't mentally rationalize it.
Yeah,
And and this authority, being a splenic authority, really, as you said, led me to the best decision in my life. Yeah, I mean, I love that you shared that you don't really mention it sometimes, that intuition is a big role. And when we did the service design process, I remember having like post-its everywhere, and the word intuitive business, intuition guidance, all of that like was coming all the time. And actually I decided that I'm not going to put it out there on my website, because
hmm,
sometimes, how do you feel about it? I feel it's hard to explain, and it can feel like a bit light or like out of the blue. And for me, it's my secret weapon, you know.
exactly. No, I agree. I don't personally advertise this side of me and this part of me. And I find that it is because, I'm sharing it here with this audience because I feel like it will resonate with those that
Mm,
resonate with you. But it is a secret weapon that
yes.
guides me in many ways, and it's a beautiful thing. And I feel like the more and more that we continue to evolve as the world, that this will become sought after and
Mm,
normalized. For now it seems different, but I think more and more people will realize that this is the norm, and it can be a beautiful thing that we have.
yeah, you're doing a human design training right now. You're almost done, no?
Yes, yeah, only a few weeks left.
What was your intention behind taking the training? Because it's quite a lot of knowledge to take in.
Yeah, for sure. So when I signed up for the training, my ultimate goal, as most things to start, are to enrich my knowledge for myself and so that I can further live my design and understand it better.
Mm,
But I know that I want to help my clients through the lens of human design and some astrology, but it's not the face of my business. It's kind of
yeah.
understanding the archetypal nature that goes behind these things, and to live optimally, to function optimally in business. And really, those archetypes can be a huge gateway to seeing themselves even more.
Yeah, what's in your toolbox? Tell us. You have the business audit. You
Yeah,
have
so
the human design.
I have the business audit. I bring in human design and astrology. I don't always bring in human design and astrology to the business audit unless the client is like specifically looking for that. That really comes in more into like a longer term container, because that information can almost take
Mm,
over any session you're in because people get very fascinated with it. But I do one-on-one work with clients over like a 4 to 6 month period, where we can, either completely launch a new program, revamp their entire business, pivot in their ways that they want to do, scale their businesses. And then also, I have a very special offering, a program audit, which varies. So I think, like a lot of your services, they're
mm,
scalable. And the program audit is where you can come to me, maybe you're 30 days out from a program launch, and I will look at your web copy, your sales copy, all the information, maybe help you plan an email campaign, your social media campaign. Or it can be like 3 months out from a program and you want to
mm,
brainstorm the entire program from beginning to end with me, help you with, maybe say you're shooting video content, understanding what's the syllabus for the course. So the program audit is an in-depth service that really transcends a lot of areas of the business too. So it's a fun little niche
mm.
of offerings right now, and but one-on-one work is truly my specialty and where I think that my clients see the most transformation and thrive. But the business audit is where you start, and that's how we get to know each
Mm,
other, and for me to assess, like, do you really need this kind of
mm,
support? And I find predatory marketing to be very
mm.
thumbs down,
Bad.
So if, yeah, very bad. So if you don't truly need the type of
Yeah.
one-on-one support I'm offering, I will not sell it to you. I feel like you are autonomous, and I want to empower people, especially small business owners, to thrive in their business. And so a business audit is a great place to start to see how you can
Mm,
do that. And you can do them multiple times per year for strategy.
mm.
Um, It's an open service.
Yeah, I don't really understand. Sometimes I find online coaches and they're like, working with me is like 20K and it's a year and you get this and that. And I'm like, I don't even know you. There's not even a picture of you on your website. How come am I
Yeah.
gonna spend 20K with you? I don't understand. Like, sometimes it looks like there's no one behind the business. And I feel what we are doing, you and me, is really being the face of the business. It took me years to get there. I used to
Hmm.
be hiding behind names and stuff. And I'm like, no, no, no. Now you're the face of the business and you're doing it very beautifully. And is this something you can notice with your client, that everyone is kind of, fearful when it comes to being visible?
Yeah, I will say that right now I'm working on a little guide, something that I want to offer
Ooh.
to everybody that is like, hey, here's if you want to join my VIP email list, I'm going to send you this guide type of thing. And it's really like 5 helpful tips. And the number one thing that I see in most business audits is that you are detached from your business. And I know you talked
Mm.
about this with Jackie, and we're experiencing it now. And the thing is that most of my clients are service-based businesses, and they focus more on the service or the modality in which they're offering. But unless you are the only person on the earth that offers that modality, I want to know you, and I still want
Mm.
to know you, even if you're the only person offering it. So being the face of your business is a huge thing that people often want to detach from, when really that's your superpower, because people buy people. They don't just buy
Mm.
services. And I
True.
find that we often overlook that. And in corporate world, we talk about that all the time. People buy people. And so our teams are
Mm.
often the most important part of how we propose to clients, not just the service alone.
It comes down to personal branding. and
Yes.
and this is something that I feel is so expanding to get into, because so many things are possible. It's like a bit every day. It's like, how can I be more me? How can I show more of me, and being very unconditional about it and
Mm-hmm.
fearless, and just like, like, just show the world how you can be useful for them. Like, we don't want to waste this incarnation. And yeah, like, navigating the energy of your business and your own energy is a dance. You want to find a sweet spot where it feels comfortable and you feel good. And I want to ask you, do you have any tips when it comes to practicing your pricing? I feel it's something
Mm.
that confront people, like embodying the price point that you offer. Do you have tips for that? I'm sure you have.
Yeah, absolutely. So I feel like I have a coach who says, never say charge your worth, because you were priceless. So that coach
Mm.
says that, and I love that. I have other coaches who believe pricing is intuitive, right? And so I think that it's really for everybody. Some people believe in pricing hourly. And so when you're coming up with your price points, you have to be in alignment with that price point. If you say, oh, I'm just going to put it out there at this price, and you're completely out of alignment, you haven't spent time with it, you haven't aligned, nobody's going to buy it. Maybe one
Mm.
person might buy it. It might be a lucky mistake, but I feel like until you are in like full alignment with your pricing, your service, what you're offering yourself, then things will flow differently. They will not flow. It won't be like they won't come to you at all, right? It will just be like the faucet's turned on and then it's leaking and then it's off.
Mm.
So I think being in alignment and being comfortable with what you're offering is the first step, even before pricing. And then the pricing will come to you. And like you said, there's some coaches out there charging 20K for a year. You don't even know who they are. They're behind some
Mm.
curtain. And that can be felt, right? That resonance is real. There's some mystery, but there's also
Mm.
some questions. So I think being transparent with pricing is important, but also being clear that that is your pricing. So no, there's no, I often find people like, oh, but I could discount it if that works for you. Or like, oh, but
No.
are you sure that's good? Yeah, you have to be like very solid in the pricing. And
Yes.
hey, I've struggled with this too. I pay lots of money to coaches and I have no qualms in doing so. But then for my own business, I'm like, ooh, is that the right pricing? And you know what? The more I was like, ooh, I don't know, the less things flowed for me.
Mm.
So, I mean,
Very
personally, I
true.
journal. I journal, I
Yeah.
think about it. I don't really talk to a lot of other people about it, because a lot of people in my world just don't have any grasp of pricing in this
Mm.
type of work. So I find that asking your friends and family isn't always really the
Yeah.
best.
I believe that we can put any price. It's how you're gonna make people feel about it that matters.
Yes,
Like
exactly.
we know some brands that charge a lot of money and they make people feel good about spending that much money, and it's fine. And there's some people that are actually discounting everything and it doesn't feel so good, you know.
Hmm.
So I was super interested to have your perspective on that, because also our prices evolves. I don't believe that the way I charge today is going to be the same in 3 months or in 6 months. I believe that it grow or expand as I grow or like expand. Do you see
Exactly.
yourself like this? Yeah.
Yeah, right now, I mean, my pricing is at founder pricing. It's low
Mm.
in some ways, but in other ways, it's high to others. So really, I don't believe there's like a low high scale. The pricing does expand, and you have to think of time. And a lot of people in the one-on-one world, one-on-one work is very expensive because it's a full energy exchange.
Mm.
Once you enter my world for one-on-one coaching, I'm thinking about you every single day. I'm really like, you're in my energy field, and everything we do, we're doing it together. Whereas there, ways of group coaching, that's a little different. So,
Mm.
from a pricing perspective, I see the ebbs and flows while we expand, of course, because that's important, but also as your offerings change, the pricing of certain things will change over time. And I feel like
Mm.
one thing I notice the most with my clients is that their pricing hasn't changed in a long time, and
Yeah.
they have changed significantly. And you wonder, like, what's holding you back in this? And they often find that it's more mindset than it is of just changing the prices. Like, am I
Mm.
worthy of this price increase? Will people still like me? Do they want to do my service? Do they just do it because it's this price point? And realistically, I think you and I both know that price is only one small factor of your service. It is how you make them feel. What are the transformations that you're delivering? And price ends up being like, oh, that's how much it costs. Okay, cool. When you've got a
Mm.
great service, it's just like, how do I pay you? Where do I send my money? That's
Mm.
really what the goal is. It shouldn't be the decision factor. It should be the,
No.
how do I pay you for this energy exchange?
Yeah, exactly. Like, and as projectors, we have to be seen and recognized and invited. And
Yes.
how do you design for that yourself?
It's often very it's interesting when I get recognized as a projector, like, wow, you have all these wonderful ideas, and it's something I'm personally working on right now. When you start your self learning journey, whatever it may be, it's forever. And right now I'm working on receiving. So when clients tell me, oh, that was so wonderful, like, you've helped me shift so much in my business, at first I feel very contractive, like, oh, it really wasn't a big deal, but I'm learning to welcome it and, like, thank you. Thank you for seeing me for what I offer and how I can help you. It's really inviting that recognition to feel good, but also
Mm.
recognizing myself, which is really a new thing for me. It's hard to say, I'm really great at this, but I am really great at this.
Yeah, what's your zone of genius?
My zone of genius is that initial moment where I start to put all the pieces together. Like, you can almost see my eyes change where I'm with you, but my mind is like, oh, okay, and then this and then that, and I'm like ready to like give the info. That's definitely my zone of genius when things start to click. I love that feeling.
Yeah, that's what I call the moment of clarity, and this is what
Yeah.
I aim for in my session. Is the session is running until we find this moment of clarity when everything makes sense, align, when the puzzle is start to take shape and form, and I'm like, okay, we're good. Now we know we have a direction. Bye bye. It's almost like this.
Yes.
There's nothing else to say at this point because it's clear. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm passionate about. I think I'm waking up for this moment. Like every time I know I'm gonna have this interaction with someone, I'm waking up for this point where I'm like, okay, let's see how it's gonna play and turn out, and then we have a direction and we can just do the work because we don't need to chat for hours if it takes sometimes it takes 30 minutes to get to this point,
Yeah.
and then it's done. Then we have to do the work and deliver basically. Yeah, it's so fascinating. Should we talk about the
Oh,
flowers?
yes. Yes, the flowers. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
great season for flowers. I wish I actually had some inside right now, but there's not a ton blooming. But I love growing specialty flowers. And I started with my mom. She grew a lot of flowers, and that really brought us great joy. And I've continued on that tradition of bringing them to my home and to my friends and my family. And it's so exciting. So I grow a lot from seed. I watch the evolution of them, and I love to arrange
Mm,
them.
that's so beautiful. And this blooming ID, I think we used it for your own service, because this is what
Yes.
happens when you work with someone, right? It's like
Yes.
you go find the seed, like this very special thing, and you do the same work. So can you expand a bit on this analogy, like this similarities between growing flowers and growing people? I'm so fascinated by context swap, as you know.
Yes.
And that is the greatest one, is transforming. As you grow flowers, you can help people to grow, and I would like to hear you on that.
For sure. No, I love this. And I recently actually took a course with one of my mentors, and where she used the analogy like this so well. And so some of this is like evolved from my understanding of this course. But you are the seed, right? You contain all the information you need to grow, to bloom, to succeed, to create the flower. But you're also the gardener. So while you are the seed, you are also the gardener, and you're able to do both of these concepts when you have this understanding. But it's not just the seed, right? So you plant the seed, but you have to make sure the soil has enough nutrients to grow the seed. It has to be protected, right? So as you're coming up, like let's say in a new business, you plant the seed. Okay, I have a new business. It's in the soil. I'm ready. You water it, you water it. Oh my gosh, you've emerged from the soil, right? It's a baby seed. It's like very tiny. It needs protection. It can't withstand a ton of wind and a ton of rain and harsh sun. It needs to be kind of nurtured, right, in that realm. And then as it starts to grow, that seed knows, like, I have a goal on this planet, and it is to bloom into a flower and to make more seeds, realistically. And so as it continues to grow, it gets stronger and stronger. And that's you and your business. Your first couple, however long, your first set of time until you reach the next level, you are fragile. And you're still fragile as you grow, but you have a goal. And then as you bloom, everyone's looking at you, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm a flower now. Like, this is amazing. and but here's the great thing. While you are that seed, you are that plant, you're also the gardener tending to that plant. So it's a dual vision that you have to hold. Like, oh no, there's some bugs on my seedling. Like, I need to, remove those bugs, or, tend to the environment around my seedling so that bugs are not bothering it, things like that. And you are that person as well as the plant. So that's what I often find to be the most like mind-blowing aspect of connecting growing to flowers. But like, something I've said to you is like, not everything blooms at the same time. Not everything blooms forever. And so not discounting the journey of that seedling to a plant, to a thriving plant before it blooms. And then also the regeneration cycle of, taking rest and waiting to rebloom is a huge aspect of it. And I know that's probably a long explanation, but it's a truly tangible concept of
Totally.
seasonality of business. And it's one of my favorite things to talk about.
It's totally this, yeah, you said season, and we have seasons in life. We have seasons in our business. I just took the longest winter not working, basically, because I needed to regenerate, to bring a new idea into the world, and I don't think it would have been possible without having this long hibernation time. Like, it was long, very long. It was even like winter and spring, I would say. And sometimes you ask people, in which season of your business are you?
Yeah.
And I feel it's easy to answer. We all know, like, everyone's watching now, that if you are like in the deep winter, thinking about it, is resting, letting it be in the dark. If you're in like beginning spring, there's something coming up, or summer, full bloom, or autumn, which is the little death, the long, yeah, like when everything that is not needed is falling, and that's fine. Like, I find
Exactly.
this question is so important. And I know people come to you because you have this energy, this very nurturing energy, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I always told you, like, the care the way you care for your plants and your flowers, we know that is the way you're going to care for your clients. You know, like it's,
Yeah,
for me, it's like right in my face. I'm like, wow, she cares so much. She's so in love with the process of helping this flower to bloom. I know she's going to do the same for me. And I think this is very unique. I mean, this might be your, I don't want to say competitive advantage, but yes. That, you know, because every time you share on your social media something about your flowers, we know that we can see the same, like, mirroring effect in your professional and business life. And I think people, they know that, and I think this is building
mhm,
trust tremendously. So maybe what I want to say is that there's so many ways for everyone to build trust by showing
mm,
how much you care for something. You know, probably, you know, the way I care for my child is gonna be, you can mirror it by the way I care for my client, and this, you know, this kind of
exactly.
thing. It's
It's a
it's
beautiful analogy.
we can see it in everything. Like there must be something for you watching in there that you can show how much you care, how much love you put into something that might have nothing to do with business. You know, like it could be a craft, like something you do with your hands, or some kind of hobby you have. But because we see your dedication, your passion, we know that you're going to show up in business the same way. You know, that's all I want to
Exactly.
do. That's all I want to see when I come into a website or an Instagram account or something. I want to see if you care about anything. Like if you take care of something, if you care, if you put some love, if you nurture something, because then I know you're gonna, when we have time together, that I know I'm gonna receive the same attention. Um, and that's a very subtle thing, right? It's not something
Hmm.
you can judge. It's like, I guess when you do your business audit, this is something you scan through.
Yes, absolutely. I'm often wondering, like, what do you do outside of this? Is this your only
Yes.
thing? Like, what makes you human? What makes you passionate? What makes you come alive? And if it's totally different than your business, great. That's perfect. If it's part of your business, great. That's also perfect. I want to know, as a consumer of your content, of your product, of your service, what else do you care for? And it's a great point. So you have one client might be really into fishing and has
Mm-hmm.
absolutely nothing to do with that person's business, but that's okay. Knowing that they have a human hobby outside of their business makes you connect with them more. Even if I know nothing about fishing, it's really nice
Yes.
to know that they take great care in that. Or, you know, um, anything really. But I think the distinction you made is really important. Is that it is not about I care about other things, like know about this. It's great to be passionate and to show your philosophy in life, but we're not encouraging anyone to just completely, you know, overhaul everything about their hobby, because it's a
No.
balance and it has to be natural, or else people will feel that. And I feel like that's where we see where it works for us. Like, I don't really think, oh, how can I've talked to you about this? How can I really share about my gardening and my journey with gardening to do with business? And it was a block for me for a while. I'm like, nobody really cares. Well, let me tell
Mm.
you, most people that come to me or that I find like that I want to work with, we connect over gardening. We connect over
Of
flowers.
course.
So it's a beautiful synchronicity that I thought was like I should maybe not talk about it, and it's the reason that I connect with so many people.
Yeah, because of this subtle thing that we can't really explain, but it's the thing
Hmm.
that builds trust, I feel. And I always say that your success depends on the amount of trust you're able to build. And as we know, when we design services, you
Hmm.
can't really build a service overnight. It's not like you do
Mm-mm.
nothing and all of a sudden you come up. Like I've seen my own process of, okay, spending maybe 2 3 months in my lab, in my office, trying to figure out what people need, what kind of people I want to work with, what's the right energy for me, what's the right pricing, like everything. And it's only coming together now when I'm ready to put it on a paper and be like, okay, guys, this is what I could offer, so much more, but I want to focus on that because I know I'm really good at this, and this is giving me energy, and I know it makes a difference. Like we curate, we have to take a lot of decision as business owners, and I feel people are needing help with this. I
For
soft
sure.
sometimes I heard, I feel I have a mountain in front of me, or I heard, I don't know where to start. And yeah, do you have any tips for that, for people navigating all the options?
Yeah, navigating all of the options is often really difficult for people, especially when they're doing it themselves. So, like, a lot of my clients have been like DIY, like do it
Mm,
yourself in their business for so long. And while they are solopreneurs, they want to remain small, like company of one. It doesn't mean that you have to pick only one focus. But my tip is to pick the next actionable step. Like, what is the
mm,
next thing you can do today, tomorrow, the next day? And revisit that every day almost, especially if you've got a lot to
mm,
do. But picking the next thing, what I like to think of is like, what do you actually want to work on next? Like, it's not a question of, oh, I want to do a podcast, I want to write a book,
mm.
and I also want to open a community. Okay, we'll pick one because those are three very large items. It
Very
doesn't mean that
big.
you're giving up on the others. You just have to pick the next one. And say you pick the podcast. Okay, what's the next actionable step for that? And usually I like to work backwards. So the end result is the podcast. I launch my podcast. Okay, well, what happens right before that? And what happens right before that? And
Mm,
then working backwards from the end goal to the start helps you create a whole list of what to do. And then put time against that and track it as you will. And being flexible, of course, for one, business, and two, life. But really, I actually should flip those: one, life, and two, business,
yes.
because if you're not being flexible in that, you know, why are you
That
doing
is
it?
such a good tip, because I think I wanted to do this interview series probably for since 2018. I think this is the first time when I had, I think my story was a bit like until 2018. So it was like 26 years of my life. I thought I was the weird one and I was the only one like me. And 2018, I actually found a community of like minded people. And it happened to be in the Kundalini Yoga community. But I saw all these great people doing great things, all the light workers, as I call ourselves, the coolest ones, of course. And I saw this community and I felt that I would be the one connecting everyone. And I'm a two for in human design, and I know I'm a great
Mm-hmm.
networker, and I know I changed people's life just because I connected them to the right person at the right time, So maybe that's just my job, But I had this idea where I thought, oh, all these fascinating people, like I want to hear from them. I want to interview them. But it was 2018. It took me 4 years to actually be
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, it must be possible that I can do it from wherever I am with whatever I had. I don't need the most expensive setup. I don't need to be in a studio. I can just start small and put energy into it and put care and put love. And I just need to think every week, do I still want to do it? And who am I excited to talk to next? And this is building. I don't know what's going to be the end goal, but my goal is that we're doing it, we're having a chat together, we're inspiring people to take action and start something, the next thing. And if we can have impact on at least one person, I feel it's successful for me. It's
Absolutely.
That's just what we do every day. We're like, how can I inspire one person to take action towards something they want to do? And that's a successful day. That's as easy as that for me. And yes, of course, it could be done way better. You can have a podcast management manager, you can have a studio, you can have blah blah blah.
Yeah,
But first, you have to see if you feel it, if you like it, if it makes you better every time. And it's quite an interesting process also when you watch the interview again and you see yourself interacting and your voice, blah, blah, blah. It's quite, you learn so much. So
yeah,
it's episode 4 right now, and I learned so much already, and I'm so happy we're doing this, and I'm so happy you're here talking about
thank
your
you.
passions and everything, because I know you want to actually have your own show and podcast, and I'm so curious because for now I have no idea what it's going to look like for you. But I think following the energy is my only tip in life. Is I always say that to everyone. It's like, follow the energy, follow your intuition. What's next? Do you feel um, gravity wave? Do you feel there's something? Do you feel it's tangible? Do you feel there's something there for you? Just try it. And I'm not good at committing, so I can't say I'm gonna post every week for the next 2 years and do 300 episodes. No, I don't know. I'm here in the moment. And like mindfulness people, they say, when I sleep, I sleep. When I eat, I eat. When I play, I play. When I walk, I walk. And that's being a mindful person to me. Now I'm here with you in the room. I know it's going to be out on YouTube soon. I'm so glad for people watching, so grateful for the feedback. And we see, So I
Yeah.
feel we have to navigate different timelines, because as coaches, we want to help people to develop and to have their vision and go through that. But it's also important to, as a flower, stand strong and shine when it's your time and enjoy it.
Exactly. Yeah. Because the flower is just ready to receive all of the sun, receive all of the love. And I love that. Absolutely. And, something to consider too when you're thinking of your next viable step. What is your next step that you're taking? And what's your next project? What's your next big program? What's your next thing? How does it feel in your body? Does it make you contract? Are you like, ooh, like I'm not ready for this? Or does it feel expansive? Do you feel really good? You can feel nervous and feel really good and expansive at the same time. You can feel excited, but really tuning in is a key for me to know. If I say, I'm making this up, I'm going to write a book. I'm like, oh, like I contract right away, because I'm like, what am I going to write a book on right now? Maybe later, but it's not my next step, because I felt it instantly in my body just kind of contract.
Yeah.
And I felt, no, that's not right. And so that's an actionable tip for anybody. Like if you're thinking, oh, I'm going to, like we currently post on social media daily, right? I'm going to post on social media daily. When I said that, I felt really good. I was like, yeah, I am. This is awesome. This is going to be so fun. But for other people, they're like, no way. And honor that. Honor how you feel. You have to show up in some way, in which way is honorable and correct for you, but not in our way, And so I feel like we both don't push our methods directly. It has to be individual for you. And like you said, timelines are very individual. And so it may look like our businesses just literally fell out of the sky and just, whoo, we're here, we're doing it. But like we've been thinking about this months, years, it's in the making.
Yeah.
So trust your own timing.
As I always say, only you know the race you're running. And it's really this. I made a reel about this because it's one of my favorite quote ever. It really clicked for me. It's like, yeah, you have no idea if I'm running a sprint or a marathon, or if I'm training for a sprint or marathon. You have no idea. I'm just, doing me and you do you. And we have to honor that. And I really want that people can believe that they can just do their own way and be invited to do their own way and be inspired if they want to expand in some ways. But there's no recipe at this time. We have to figure it out and try and see what feels good and see what energy feels good focusing on. And this is really what we're doing right now. And this is so beautiful. And at which stage of the business should I come to you?
I welcome all stages of business, but I will say there is something very special about conducting a business audit for an existing business, one who has been running, who has a few seasons under their belt, that they can understand, where are they looking to go? Where have they started? Because in the beginning, we're often bootstrapping and like carrying a lot on our backs. Like this is my whole business, and it can feel it's a different feeling. And so a business audit for a newly established business is totally different from one who has a little bit more room to assess their past, their future, and where they really want to go. Whereas a new business is like, I have to figure this out. And so either stage is completely fine for a business audit. And I tailor that knowing where you are in your business. And so it's one of the first questions I ask, like, are you just starting up and making it work? Are you sustaining, or are you making it rain? Like, are you just rolling in money and everything's great, but you kind of want to figure, some new things out? So all are welcome and all are appreciated, and it just really depends on where you are, and I tailor it to them. Right now, I'm currently working on my VIP list so that you can get first understanding of my calendar, but on my Instagram bio, I have a link, and that is how you book a business audit, and also will be able to sign up for my VIP list.
Cool. I need to sign up for this VIP list. Because I mean,
Yes.
that's what we say in as a projector, we know that we can be fully ourselves in our newsletter because we're fully invited. um,
Yes.
and it feels so good. I'm actually now thinking how to get back to my mailing list that I haven't really nurtured for the last 6 months, and it's interesting because I do want to get in touch with the people,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel a bit shy because I feel I left as another person, and now I'm reborn, and yeah, that's quite interesting conversation to see how to navigate this and how often we want to be in touch with people. But it's going to also be
Mm-hmm.
something like a VIP list where I feel invited completely to share about the new things and the beta version of the courses and all of that, because when we are in each other's mailbox, we have direct access to
Mm-hmm.
the energy and to the potential. So yeah, cool, we sign up for this VIP list. I put the link in the description so it's easy. We
Yeah,
just want to make people's life easy. That's why we did service design school, right? To
exactly.
you said you're the seed and you're the gardener. So what, in this analogy, in this context swap about blossoming, being a flower, being the gardener, where do you see yourself as a third person, as the coach?
So as the coach, I'm watching you. Like I imagine me as the coach, like going to someone else's garden and like marveling
Mm,
at everything that's happening. And so, personally, anyone who I've visited their garden or even their, their yard or something is growing, even a house plant, I'm marveling in that. And so I'm like, wow,
mm.
look at this. This is amazing. Also, like my friends know I won't be afraid to say like I think you need more water here. Like this is looking great, but it could use a little water. So like I'm very nurturing, but I'm also not going to ignore
Mm.
anything that needs to be done, especially if I'm invited. What do you think of this garden? Like, oh, it looks fantastic. Have you considered, maybe adding some support for this really tall flower so it doesn't blow over in the wind? Because I want to see them succeed and also celebrate them. And so that's
That's
me like visiting.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's
Thank
amazing.
you.
I wouldn't have thought of this, but yeah, you're totally the visiting the garden and making it even more beautiful and more successful. That's so beautiful. Oh, I think it's
Just
perfect way to
enjoying it.
end. It's
Thank
so beautiful
you.
because I was wondering. I was like, where is she in my context swap? What is she? And it's perfect. You're
Yeah.
visiting the garden and you're making it even more beautiful. And I think it's so cool. And you are so talented, and your gift
Thank you.
is huge. And I think now we're very, very happy because now we get to know you a bit better, and you can work with anyone in the world right now, in a
Absolutely.
virtual garden, because this is what we have,
Yeah.
most of us. We have an online garden.
Yes.
I can't wait to get my business started and in a few seasons get an audit with you to make it even better. um,
Oh, I'm
your
excited.
eyes on it is super precious, and well, maybe it would make sense also to do it now, but like let's see how it goes when it launch, and then then we have to
I've
see.
seen I've seen a sneak peek and I'm really excited for it. So I can't wait for the launch. I'm looking forward to
Me
it.
too. It could be today, the pre-launch on the full moon. It's a bit intense, but
That's
why not?
amazing. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Nicole. I put all your
Thank you.
info down below so people can connect with you and we can follow your. So you have two Instagram. One is more flower and personal life, and the other one is more flower and business.
Yes,
No?
exactly. And both are public, so feel free to join
Yeah.
either or both and follow my journey. And I wanted to offer, for people who did get this far in the interview, if you respond back to my email, I'm going to send you the 5 tips sooner than I release it
Mm,
to my VIP list so you can have it and also, open that dialogue and have a little
mm.
conversation with anyone who wants to do a quick strategy session just on me and we'll talk.
Cool. And how do we do that? How do they reach out with your by email?
Um, Yeah, by email. So I'll give you the email they can send an email to, and if you email me, then we can chat.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you
Thank
so,
you.
so
I'm
much
looking
for your
forward to
time.
talking with more light
Thank
workers.
you. Yeah, we have to help each other. That's really my mission. It's too
Yeah.
hard to do it all on our own. And, I'm trying with this to take out the solo of the solopreneurs. We don't have to do it alone. And we are all trying to do the same thing, but we can do so much faster and have more impact if we join forces. So this is why we're here. And thank you so much for your time, Nicole. I
Thank
see you,
you.
I honor you, I respect you, and I see you soon.
Thank you.
Bless you.